Something that's very hard for us to understand is that the Greeks could play with their notions of gods.
Superior to the humans over whom they held sway, the gods were nevertheless subject to the same passions, failures, and weaknesses of mortals. They knew love, despair, and tragedy. They took on human form and were vulnerable to injury and illness. But unlike humans, they healed quickly.
Of course, they weren't just humans. They were different from humans in many ways. They, first of all, obviously never died. Secondly, they had incredible powers of strength and knowledge. But the reason why they're in human form is that the Greeks had tremendous pride in the human form. The Greeks had such high value for the perfection of human intelligence and physicality that they could not imagine a more perfect form to attribute to the gods.
This notion that the gods are humans plus seems to have answered a very deep need in the Greeks. It's a sort of fantasy of overcoming all the weaknesses that make us humans what we are.
The gods were also subject to similar laws which governed humanity. As the guardian of travelers, when Hermes cleared a pathway by killing the 100-eyed monster called Argos, he had to stand trial for the deed.
Well, he's a god, but he's polluted. And so he had to stand trial. And the way the gods all cast their votes was by putting a stone at his foot, which made a stone heap, which is called a herm.
Although the gods were not perfect, they were nevertheless powers not to be trifled with.
What you did need to do was be careful not to offend the gods. Not to set yourself up as the gods' equal, not to be arrogant in that way, because that was inviting disaster, not from any other humans, but from the gods themselves. There's the story of Salmonos, who had himself driven around on a cart, banging on shields or some noise-making implement, saying that he was Zeus and trying to imitate Zeus's thunder, and he was promptly dispatched with a thunderbolt.
I think everybody believed that somebody really powerful had to be in charge of lightning, and the obvious candidate was Zeus. Zeus was a weather god, primarily. In fact, when it rained, you said, Zeus is raining. You didn't say, it's raining. And so lightning, it's just this powerful, strange thing that can kill you, obviously had to be under the control of someone like Zeus.
In Athens, the people also worshipped a god with no name, one who was simply referred to as the unknown god.
The shrine to the unknown god was probably the Athenians' way, in their own religious system, of covering their bets. Just in case there was a god out there that they hadn't managed to worship, a god that might do something to them, they had a shrine to the unknown god.
The Greeks rationalized the world around them. Philosophy and intellectual thought flourished, most of all in Athens. It was here that Athena presided in noble splendor over the people. Goddess of war and patron of the arts, she was honored in the form of a gold, ebony, and ivory statue at the Parthenon. It was believed that her symbolic presence would make the city invincible to attack. Thousands came to pay tribute to her here, in one of the finest buildings ever constructed. But of all the sacred places in ancient Greece, few approached the significance of a tree-lined valley of unsurpassed beauty and strange power. It was here that the Greeks came to discover their future, the Oracle of Delphi. 2,500 years ago, a 40-foot-high statue stood here at Olympia. Constructed from gold and ivory, it was considered one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. Dedicated to Zeus in celebration of his omnipotence, this ancient wonder presided over the oldest known organized sporting event on Earth, the Olympic Games.
Every 4 years, the Greeks from all over the Greek world and the islands and Italy would come to Olympia to celebrate this festival.
Open only to males, including spectators, naked athletes competed for crown and glory under a burning sun in 5 events: long jump, discus throwing, javelin hurling, wrestling, and the 200-yard dash. While the object of the games was to win, the purpose was to worship.
According to one scholar, David Sansone, he believed that the athletic event is an expenditure of ritual energy for the gods. And in fact, one way of showing this is that what the athletes did was sweat. And they sweat and they had dirt on them and they had olive oil on them. And after they finished competing, they cleaned off the scum from their skin using a strigil. And they actually collected the scum from the athletes, which was thought to have magical properties. And in a sense, they were reaping the product of human energy and having this as a magical potion that the gods would honor.
To this day, across the globe, winning an Olympic event remains an accomplishment unlike any other.
When I had the luck to win the Olympic Games and come first, my country hadn't had a first place in any Olympics for over 50 years. All this was very exciting for a young person. You know, the idea that you get onto the podium, your achievement is honored only by a medal and nothing else. You hear the national anthem of your country, you see the Greek flag going up. These things remain in your mind, and I've often said that that is the greatest feeling in my life, other than getting engaged to my wife.
Another site central to the ancient Greeks is Delphi. Mystical and mysterious, Delphi is the place where a famous oracle resided. Also known as the Oracle of Apollo, she gave clues to those who sought insight into the future.
The Oracle of Apollo was a priestess who was named the Pythia. People would come from all over the known world to seek the advice of this priestess for important questions, often affairs of state, political questions, and direction.
But the oracle spoke in a language no one could understand. Her pronouncements had to be translated by a prophet. Even then, her prophecies were often obscure.
There's one famous ambiguous answer in which a great king asks the oracle, "Should I go to war?" And the oracle says, "If you go to war, you will destroy a great kingdom." And so the guy goes to war, and of course his kingdom is the great one destroyed, and he should have read that the right way. The oracle always gives you a kind of question in return, a puzzle, an enigma that you have to answer.
Humans are born and they grow up and they make a choice to do this and to do that. At any point in their life, they could go to Delphi and hear an oracle like, "Beware of the sea because it will kill you." And you spend your whole life avoiding the sea so that you won't get killed. Then one day you're in an aquarium and a tank bursts and you drowned in this seawater, in this saltwater aquarium, or something more sensible than that. Did fate make that happen? No, it's just the God knew the future and could say that it was going to happen.